And among the half dozen candidates in this race, each seems to have a different perspective on the scope of the deficit problem and how best to solve it. This includes Rashid Wyatt. Among the candidates for Buffalo's top job, Garnell Whitfield wants an outside audit of the city's finances. Sean Ryan thinks we should borrow money to close the deficit. Acting Mayor Chris Scanlon wants to sell off several city parking garages and impose a hotel bed tax.
There are some real things that we can do without antics of deficit bonds and selling property and a 3% bed tax.
Starting with the amount the city pays cops and firefighters for overtime.
The city has spent in 5 years $127 million in police and fire overtime.
According to a Syracuse University researcher hired by Wyatt, overtime costs for police and fire have nearly doubled in the last 5 years, despite no evidence of any appreciable increase in the workload or reduction in staff. We asked Wyatt if he was suggesting that city workers were somehow abusing the overtime system.
I don't know. I can't speak to that. I don't know factually, and I'm going to speak on what I know factually, and that's these numbers. So I can't tell you why people are getting this overtime, but at the end of the day, if I told you that crime was down, fires are down, and that we have 30 million plus overtime, would that make sense to you?
We also pressed Wyatt as to what he would do to cut overtime costs.
I think that we should be looking at cutting the overtime, number one, in half at least, by making an amendment to the budget. It's as simple as that.
But the manner in which overtime is paid is baked into labor contracts.
The contracts are coming up, and those are conversations that we're going to have. As a matter of fact, they probably should be coming to the acting mayor, which I don't know how you fix that because he's been endorsed by police and fire. So do you think they're going to cut the overtime with him being in office? Probably not.
Skylar Lawson, the Syracuse University researcher that you saw there in the story, also found that nearly half of the firefighters and more than half of the city's police officers made over 6 figures last year. On your side in the studio, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.